let's look over the massively criticised Boomtown. Yay. Okay, so Boomtown follows on from where the Doctor dances kind of left off, with the Doctor now with Rose and Captain Jack, after they save Captain Jack from his ship blowing up or whatever. Of course they go to Cardiff to refuel, like from the rift seen in the Unquiet Dead, except it wasn't really seen, but you know, talked about, mentioned, so you got a nice little bit of continuity in there. And of course they reunite with Mickey, who gives Rose her passport. You know, the whole passport thing, I really don't get. You have a TARDIS, do you not? Okay, maybe there are some logical reasons behind it. But, you know, when you've got a machine that can go anywhere in time and space, why do you need a passport? I mean, you've got, like, the psychic paper and stuff. No? Okay. Ignore me, then. Feel free. Just ignore me. So, anyway. Where was I? So, the four of them, of course, find out that Margaret Blane, or Blomfell-Foch Pasmere de Sladine, is now the new mayor of Cardiff. And they go to her office just to say hello. Which is a great sequence, I think, when the Doctor goes up to the guy and just says, just tell her the Doctor is here, as it goes along, and you hear the smashing of the teacup. Brilliant. I just think that's a brilliant bit, and the way they all seem to play it is just brilliant. And of course they go on a merry chase, a sort of Benny Hill's chase, to get to Margaret, which is entertaining, I guess. But of course, one thing that everybody points out is, how is the Doctor able to take a newspaper off that random man, yet doesn't seem to give it back? Okay, so let's talk about Margaret Sladine, seeing as I haven't done a review of Aliens of London and World War III yet. Margaret Sladine is actually a very compelling character in the story, and it's very clear that she's trying to work out how to escape every available opportunity. The bit where she's trying to kill the Doctor, I've never looked at that as she's actually physically trying. It just feels like she's testing him, seeing how much he knows, which is of course the whole thing about the question asking. Of course, if he's stupid, he'll get killed. Obviously he isn't stupid, so he's not going to get killed. No one getting that logic? Okay, some people probably do. Anyway, of course, the opening bit is like any traditional Sladine story would be. Sladine kills someone. Okay. What's quite good is Annette Badland plays it straight. I don't know how to describe it. She just plays it brilliantly. You know, that whole bit of, whatever guy it was, important guy, slips on an icy patch. He was decapitated. It was a very icy patch. No, that's a terrible voice, but you know what I mean. I just think that's brilliantly written and everything. The way Annette Badland plays it, completely icy cold and everything, is very good. And when she's meant to be compelling, she does come across as compelling, and you do sort of wonder, is she really that bad? Of course, yes, she is really that bad, and she's just trying to escape. But of course, the Doctor won't let her. So you can tell that they're trying to sort of have a bit of a mental face-off, trying to work out ways of deceiving each other, which is quite entertaining to watch in a way. You can see all the cogs turning and everything. Of course, the significant thing is, of course, Christopher Eccleston orders, at least he's going to order, steak and chips, which of course goes against Colin Baker's commitment to be vegetarian, which I always thought was just for that story, but it turns out that that whole vegetarian thing actually stayed on until the TV movie, where Sylvester McCoy is seen eating jelly babies. So didn't last very long, did it? Guess in a way it did. Suppose it depends how long Colin Baker's Doctor actually lasted. Aside from his television appearances. Same with Paul McGann and Sylvester McCoy. And Christopher Eccleston, I hope. So, yeah, that's an interesting idea. It's a pity that no one seems to have mentioned that nowadays in Doctor Who, but I guess it's a bit of a small thing. It's in a not particularly popular era, in a not particularly popular story, so it doesn't really matter so much. I think the CGI, the way the CGI and the actual Tadine suits blend in are quite good for the time. I mean, considering, you know, CGI, Doctor Who had cheapy CGI 8 years ago. So, you know, it looks good. It looks like the creatures. Of course, Mickey has to sort of confront Rose and they have an interesting conversation, but the problem is it never really goes anywhere in terms of the rest of the series and the rest of Doctor Who. Now, of course, there is the theory that Mickey was in fact making up the whole thing about having another girlfriend. It could be. I don't know. It depends. I think it's one of those things, Mickey just found someone else, but he's still going after Rose. Not too sure why, but, you know, he's a nice guy, so I'm not criticising Mickey. And I'm not criticising Noel Clarke, because he's brilliant in the role. I think he's a very, very good actor, and it's a pity he doesn't do more, but, you know, he does his own original stuff, so maybe I should start watching that. Who knows? So, of course, you do have the very entertaining Benny Hill sequence where literally Mickey is the butt of most of the jokes in this episode, which is a pity, but however, he does it so well that you don't really feel it's necessarily wrong, you just feel it's part of the comedy. However, he doesn't come across as like a stupid person, if you understand what I mean. Captain Jack also does very, very little in this episode. He gets out the TARDIS once and sort of is fixing the TARDIS a lot. Now, I think it maybe could have worked a bit better if perhaps Captain Jack had sort of done a bit more. And Doctor had done more fixing of the TARDIS. But, you know, I think this episode was more, let's try and do something, and they had, like, 2p a budget, so they put something together. Which is fine, personally. When you look at what they did in this episode, the amount of money they had, you know, you do forgive the fact that it does... There's not much in there. So, yeah, I think it's alright. You know, I think it's quite good. I think it's quite an entertaining episode. It's quite deep. It does make you think about it. Of course, at the end of the day, of course, Margaret Slitheen's all lying and everything, so some people reckon that's a reason not to think about it. However, when you think about the Slitheen family as a whole, and how she talks about how the Ratscorocavaliborians punish those who go against their rules, which is quite sinister in a way. That whole dinner sequence is very, very well acted. The ending, I'm not too sure about the ending, the whole climax thing, but I think in a way it just sort of satisfies everyone. They're just like, right, that's Margaret Slitheen gone. So that means no more members of the Slitheen family can come back from the dead. The whole thing about her escaping at the last minute does seem a bit of a cop-out in a way. However, you know, you go, well, it could have happened. It could have. Now, all the subtle hints and everything that Margaret makes, as she's meant to be the mayor of Cardiff, you know, it does work well. I think it's an entertaining episode, and it's a good way to kill 45 minutes, if not an enjoyable one. I think it's a very deep episode, and it's one you kind of need to think about more than to sort of watch for entertainment, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, I think it's quite good. I think I will give the story a 6 out of 10. It's not brilliant. There's nothing particularly special about it. Yes, it is a little dull at points, but, you know, it's alright. It's not as bad as its reputation suggests. And, you know, they nearly destroy Cardiff, so it's not all bad. And there's some destruction in there. You know, it's alright. I think it's a good episode. Again, you know, Annette Badland, Annette Badland and Christopher Eccleston, of course, are standout actors in this, and Noel Clarke is very good as well. Yeah, those three are very good. The secretary I thought was quite funny, so, you know. It's an enjoyable episode, you know. It's worth a watch. If you haven't watched it in a long time, you know, it's worth a rewatch. That's what I think anyway. Don't have to agree with me. I know this story gets a lot of hatred from people, so... Oh well, maybe I'm just the only one who thinks it's not all that bad. So, yeah, 6 out of 10. Thanks for watching, everyone. Not sure what my next review will probably be. Possibly Bad Wolf and the Parting of the Ways. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.